Man. Oh, man, finally get to record this podcast.
Yeah, man, our channel. I'm really excited, man.
Exactly, man. It's going to be great for our channel, man, especially here at the Geek House. We're going to get a lot of new viewers, a lot of new eyes on us, man. This place is amazing, man. You saw the couches over there.
Man.
All these nice framed
pictures. A kitchen? Mm-hmm. Oh, man. A lot of offices.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Ooh, conference room right here coming up. Oh.
Exactly, man. Like I said, it's a packed podcast, man.
Yes.
We got who we're going to start and sit.
Oh, man.
Who our bus going to be this week. How we going to make money off this fan.
That's right, man.
Kings. It's going to be amazing, man. It's
trying $15 cents to $1.
Exactly,
oh,
man.
Man.
Exactly.
I can't wait.
Everything. Can't wait, man. Woo.
Telling you, this is it. This is it. Can't wait for this. Oh, man. Look at this, man. Studio. Okay, man. Gosh. Woo. Ready for this. Oh, what the hell are you doing?
Isn't that what you look like?
Wait. No. We're supposed to be starting a podcast, man. You over here playing with toys?
I mean,
wait.
But it's kind of like, yeah, I'm taking pictures of toys.
Man, what the hell, LA? Supposed to be our host.
I got distracted.
Yo, man, is that the future Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Wait, Mike.
Talking about sports.
We're talking about sports here, man.
I know sports, man, but the kids love toys.
This is true. You gotta do it for the kids.
I can't
Disney and Nickelodeon.
I can't do it. No, man, I'm done.
What?
You're fired.
Toy podcast?
Toy podcast.
Sweet.
Welcome, everyone, to Unrivaled Podcast, the best damn sportscast that you'll find inside of the Mississippi. I'm your host, L.A. With me, I have Mike and Brian and Zach back there on the ones and twos. We're going to talk about NFL this week and the great games that went on. Right now, I want to get straight into it. Top games that we have our thoughts on. First off, Colts and Texans. Man, what a game that was. Mike, I know you have some opinions on this one. Go ahead and hit us off with it.
Yeah, the Colts and the Texans. So, of course, we all know that Andrew Luck is injured as announced. So, old man Matt Hasselbeck came in, tossed 2 touchdowns to old man Andre Johnson. It's like a geriatrics club or something on this game or something. Against his old team, the Houston Texans. Old man Frank Gore, 32 years old, rushed for 98 yards and 1 touchdown. Houston Texans, though, Ryan Mallett started this game. Of course, you know, they've been swapping between Mallett and Hoyer all season. Mallett got injured halfway through the game, so Brian Hoyer came in. Actually did very impressive. 31 pass attempts, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, both to rookie Jalen Strong. DeAndre Hopkins, the fantasy football godsend for the Texans, came up with 11 catches, 169 yards. Arian Foster also put in 9 carries for 77 yards. This was going to be a difficult game. I honestly thought that the Texans would pull this out because Luck makes so much of that offense go, but the Colts pulled it out, and this is actually the 16th win that they had against the AFC South, which just shows how pathetic this division has been since Peyton Manning got drafted to the Colts.
Yeah, what a ride for the Colts, especially ever since Peyton's leaving. Andrew Luck having a hard time getting that offense going. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them throughout the rest of the season. Moving right along, though, to a game that was very highly coveted but turned out to be kind of underwhelming, unfortunately, is the Patriots and Cowboys game. I know a lot of people here in Dallas were, I'm sure, very, very upset. Tom Brady just being Tom Brady. Brian, go ahead and let us know what you thought about that game.
Yeah, that game went exactly like I thought it would. The Patriots winning 30-6, pulling away in the second half, scoring 17 points to the Cowboys' measly 3 points in the second half. Tom Brady going 20 of 27 passing for 275 yards, a couple touchdown passes. Also, you had Julian Edelman, 4 catches, 420 yards, having a touchdown catch that was incredible if you saw both of Moore Claiborne's ankles on that. Incredible play. Horrible if you're a Cowboys fan. Also horrible for the Cowboys was Brandon Whedon's play. 180 yards only passing, no touchdowns, an interception. Just a really bad performance. Also, only 60 yards rushing for Joseph Randle. Got to give it up to the defense in the first half, though. They actually stopped the Patriots for 17 points, but overall, Patriots are just too much on offense, doing what they want to do in the second half and pulled away. And now the Patriots going to 4-0, and the Cowboys dropping to 2-3, going to the second in the NFC East. Pray for them.
Yeah, and some switching going on over there in the Cowboys offense. Matt Castle looks like he'll be coming into the starting position.
Yep.
Yes.
So that That's going to be interesting.
Couldn't be worse.
That's
Yeah, true.
Yes, can't get no worse than we were now.
Yeah,
that's
very,
right.
very true. So we'll see what happens on the next week. Speaking of the following games to go ahead and talk about,
Right.
We're going to talk about right now probably the laughingstock of the NFL going on, which is not my team. Ironically, the Raiders. Yeah,
All
we're
right.
not the laughingstock of the league.
That's
How about
right.
that? Actually, the Redskins have been struggling to get things moving with the RG3.
Pick six cousins.
To pick six cousins. They cannot get anything moving on this offensive front. So that Redskins-Falcons game, Mike, I know you went ahead and watched that game. Tell us what you thought about it.
Yeah, so the Redskins and Falcons, it's been a tumultuous season for the Redskins. They were only in, week 4, week 5. They had plenty of difficulties in the offseason. Were they going to start Robert Griffin? Were they going to start Kirk Cousins? Griffin got a concussion, lost his job to Cousins even after he was cleared to play. And in this game, it was a pretty tight game throughout the way. The Redskins, ironically, have a top 5 run defense, which I did not know until I started looking up stats. And I should have started Devontae Freeman because he went off for 27 yards, 27 carries, 153 yards, and 1 touchdown. Matt Ryan had 254 yards passing. But what it was the defense that won this game for the Falcons. They went into overtime, and of course, good old Captain Kirk threw a pick 6. Which the Falcons caught, took it back for a touchdown, and ended up winning the game 25-19. Now, this was a pivotal game for the Redskins because if they would have won this game, that would have put them atop of the NFC East. But now they're tied for 3rd at 2-3 with the Eagles, and of course the Falcons moved to 5-0, which they play the horrible New Orleans Aints next week or Thursday on Thursday Night Football. So if you got Devontae Freeman, make sure to start him in that game against the Saints.
Yeah, and Saints fans, make sure you bring your Halloween theme paper bags.
Yeah, has not been looking good for these guys. Moving right along, though, we're going to go talk about one of the Manning brothers, and maybe not the one that you may think. Eli has been just crushing it lately. He has been throwing the ball with efficiency, getting a lot of yards. Brian, I know you covered this Giants and Niners game.
Right.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, this game was a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought the Giants were going to actually blow out the 49ers, but they really brought it to them. The Giants winning 30-27. But this game was all about Eli Manning throwing for 441 yards, 3 touchdowns, incredible play to win the game, catch over the middle to Larry Donnell, over the safety, over the DB. Great catch for him. You had Odell Beckham looking back to form, going for 7 catches for 121 yards. Just incredible touchdown catch he had. Also, Shane Vereen had 8 receptions for 86 yards. Just incredible play for him. And the Giants really seem to have it together right now. They're healthy again. Remember, Victor Cruz is going to come back, I think, next week off of injury. So we look forward to them. Also, as far as for the 49ers, Colin Kaepernick was very good in this game. Didn't throw any interceptions, had a couple touchdown passes, throw for over 200 yards. This was a very close back-and-forth game, and it was just really heartbreaking if you're a 49ers fan because they thought they had this game when the Eli Manning threw one of his classic lollipop balls up in the air and just couldn't capture it. It actually hit the ground, but overall, kudos to the Giants because now they go to 3-2, lead the NFC East. And unfortunately, if you're a 49ers fan, they are last in the NFC West at 1-4. So, all right, where's Joe Montana? I guess if you're a 49ers fan.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see the rise and fall of Kaepernick.
Yeah, you don't know week to week what you're going to get.
Week to week, he always seems to be iffy. It's definitely a scary choice if you have him on your fantasy league, which we'll get into.
Gotta pray for you if you do.
We'll get into a little bit later today. Right now, though, let's jump into this Steelers and Chargers game. Michael Vick is back out on that gridiron. really trying to get back acclimated into that role with the Ben Roethlisberger out. Mike, go ahead and let us know what you thought about that game.
Yeah, this was actually a pretty good game come the start of the fourth quarter. Both teams were going back and forth, but the Steelers pulled it out 24-20 with a little last-second touchdown by Le'Veon Bell at the end of the fourth quarter to go in for the score. Now, this was a controversial call to me because it's one of two things. 5 seconds left. They had a timeout. And they choose to go to Wildcat, which, hasn't really been prevalent in the NFL for at least the past 2 or 3 seasons. So it's like, you know what's going to happen. You know Le'Veon Bell's going to get the ball. They got Mike Vick out of wide receiver, and he runs it in. And at one camera angle, it looks like his knee was down. They went with the call with the touchdown. Vick played pretty well, throwing 50% of his passes, 203 yards and a touchdown. Le'Veon Bell, of course, the workhorse, 21 carries, 111 yards and 1 touchdown. For the San Diego Chargers, it's pretty much pretty typical Chargers fare. They get down, and then Phillip Rivers has to throw 50 passes to get them back in the game. So he had 48 pass attempts, 365 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Also, this game, which gives me a little bit of hope that the Steelers may be able to make a wild card this year, that defense was in Phillip Rivers' face every time. There was one drive where literally they blitzed him all 3 downs, and you had offensive linemen in his face, defensive linemen in his face. So, because they lost Dick LeBeau in the offseason. So, whoever the defensive coordinator is now, he did a really good job of getting that defense together, getting pressure in Phillip's face. Now, one thing I would say about Michael Vick, which I wasn't too impressed is that he didn't show up until the fourth quarter. In the first half, he was throwing a lot of ducks. He hit through a lot of passes that should have been intercepted, but were not. So it's going to be difficult for the Steelers going forward. They're going to have to run the ball with Bell, pray that defense could get them the stops, because if they don't, then I don't see no way Michael Vick's able to throw them to a winning record or to the playoffs this season with his arm.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see him get back out there. I can only assume under Mike Tomlin, he's going to get a little bit better.
Yeah,
I think they're probably going to focus more on the defensive side while he's out there.
They're going to win games by defense, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure, because those legs aren't as quick as they used to be.
No.
And that arm isn't as strong as it used to be. But to their credit, they did get that win. Now we're going to move on to our topics for next segment, top 3 and bottom 3, where we're going to highlight the top 3 most
performances
for that game and the bottom 3 performances of last week. So go ahead and hit us off with that top 3, Mike. Let us know the top highlights for your.
Yeah, so my top 3. My first one, I did not see this coming out of nowhere. I would never think that this quarterback would be able to throw for this amount of yards, even though they were playing a very porous Ravens defense. Josh McGowan,
wow,
36 of 51 attempts, 457 yards, a passing touchdown.
Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, Cleveland Browns.
Oh, man.
Even ran in for a touchdown. Now, when I thought...
wasn't Jim Brown?
No, it wasn't Jim Brown.
Okay.
It was Josh McGowan. So now I knew that the Ravens defense wasn't the best, but I didn't think they were that bad to give Josh McGowan get that many yards, almost 500 yards. That was a very good game for him, which they did end up winning. Second, Seattle Seahawks, even though in the losing effort, Thomas Rawls back up for Marshawn Lynch. 169 yards, 1 touchdown against that Cincy defense, which was supposed to be a top 5 defense in the league. The Seahawks did have a 24-7 lead. They ended up blowing that and losing the overtime by a field goal. And Fletcher Cox, I hate to admit it, but looks like the Philadelphia Eagles got on track against the New Orleans Saints, which isn't saying much.
No,
but
it's not at all.
Yeah, we'll see how they play this week against the Giants. He had 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. They were just in Drew Brees' face all game, and Fletcher Cox reaped the benefits for that defense.
Yeah. Now we're going to go straight to the losers, as our good friend Donald Trump would say.
Losers.
The losers.
Yeah.
The bottom 3. Brian, give us those unrivaled losses of a play that they came through.
I'll be glad to give those to you. We're going to start with good old Matt Stafford throwing 3 interceptions and then getting benched. If you saw those 3 interceptions, you don't know if he was actually paid off or actually played for the Arizona Cardinals, because those were god-awful. Going to the second one was the Seattle Seahawks blowing a 24-7 lead, and actually blowing a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter. I don't know what happened. They took some NyQuil at halftime or what, because that was god-awful fourth quarter performance. You just had Cam Chancellor out there looking lost. You had Big Sherm, a.k.a. Richard Sherman, out there looking lost. Yeah, that's really just really poor looking. I didn't know Tyler Eifert could really just dance all over the secondary like he did of the Seattle Seahawks. And then my third bottom 3, of course, the Dallas Cowboys getting beat 36. Brandon Wheaton looked like a dumpster fire out there, quarterback, just not being able to throw it anywhere. Terrence Williams did not get a catch to the fourth quarter. The defense was just really bad in the secondary. Mo Claiborne, Brandon Carr. If you're a Cowboys fan, you know every week these guys are usually the culprits. So, yeah, these 3 teams and players, good job. Not really.
Good job at sucking. So now if we could tone it down just a bit, guys, we're going to get into a little bit of fantasy. get out your pigskins and your
Not what you're
lingerie,
thinking, though.
and
Not what you're thinking. Though.
we're gonna talk about some fantasy picks, guys. Now,
That's right.
more than ever, with the season getting down to the nitty gritty, it's very important for you to know who to start, who to sit, and who you need to pick up. Right now, we're going to go straight to Mike and Brian. They're going to give us some rapid-fire impressions on what they feel going on to this next week and what you need to know. Go ahead, guys, and let us know what you think.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, okay. So going into this week, you have a culmination of things. At running back, you got Jamal Charles out. Tyrod Taylor, who, in my personal opinion, hasn't really been doing much the past couple of weeks. First couple of weeks, he was good. Last couple, 2 weeks, he wasn't. In the past 2 weeks? What did he do? Yeah, him. Yeah. He's all right.
Yeah.
The quarterback situation is awful. You don't have Romo. You don't have Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Brady, it's all you need.
That's one player. You play in 10-team leagues, 12-team
Yeah,
leagues.
Brady and Dalton.
Dude,
I'm probably sure
people
Dalton's
are
somewhere out
starting
there.
Bradford in leagues and winning. You're not telling me Tyrod Taylor's a decent pickup?
Well, he's not now because he's injured.
Well, you know what?
Oh, somebody got dumped in the trash can.
Man.
Oh, that's like Vince Carter in the slam dunk contest right now. Oh, it's over. It's over.
Don't discount his fantasy value just because, like, he has had good weeks. That was my point. That's all.
All right.
That's a valid point. I can respect that.
Very, very valid.
respected.
But
That's
in
like
all
Good job, good effort.
In all
Yeah.
due respect, Zach just got owned. So
I'll come back. We still got a half hour of this. So.
Yeah, that's true. But my top 3 fantasy picks, you should try to get off the waiver wire or trade for somebody. Now, some people will call me crazy for this because they're not sure if he's going to start this week or not. I'm like, he'll eventually get in. Trust me. After what he did last year when Jamal Charles got injured, Niles Davis should be a pickup on your team. Also, before I mentioned Thomas Rawls, Marshawn Lynch looks like he may be breaking down a little bit this season. Now, Fred Jackson is playing amazing, but you got to remember, the man's old. He's like 34, 35 years old.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get a bulk of the carry, so pick up Thomas Rawls, running back for the Seattle Seahawks. And also this week, I can tell you, if you don't do one thing this week, whether you're playing daily fantasy or if you in a league and you don't have this defense, pick up the Patriots defense. When I tell you they're going to make Andrew Luck wish that he played basketball this week, just pick up the Patriots defense if you can. Those are my top 3 picks for this week.
Excellent. Brian, right now, we're going to go into some stardom and sit-em. This is very crucial to a lot of people's fantasy season because those stardom and sit-ems are super important to go ahead and find out how to maneuver which one of your players is the most important that's going to give you the most points in your league. Brian, let us know who's the best at stardom and sit-em this week.
Okay. A lot of people don't think I'm crazy for saying this, but I think this week you're going to start with Blake Bortles. Last week, he did throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdown passes, but he is playing against the Texans at home. I think he's going to have a big day. He's really starting to catch on. Also, this week, I think Tom Brady. Who else would it be? Especially against that porous.
Horrible.
Colts defense. I mean, he might just go arena league on them and just throw for 10 touchdown passes. Also, this week coming up, I think you have to go with the Jets defense.
Yes.
You have to start them against Pick Six Cousins. I mean, it's going to be ugly. I think he might throw for 10 interceptions. You just never know with Pick Six Cousins because he is due for a couple or quadruple interception game. So, yeah, those are my starts. Now, as far as sitting, Andrew Luck. Like Mike said, don't start him this week. Nope. Yeah, he might go out on a stretcher. It's going to get ugly, I think. That Patriots defense, as you saw, they had Hightower out, but that didn't matter. They are still a wrecking crew and just knocking a lot of teams out. Also, I think as far as sitting, you have to sit Brian Hoyer this week. I just don't like him on the road. Anytime he plays on the road, he is just not really productive. I know at home he's good, but I just have him sitting this week. I just don't like him at all. And any of the Houston Texan wide receivers this week, I'm not going to take them. Just not. Because on the road, I don't know what happens. They just crap the bed. You saw them against the Falcons. They were just god-awful, and they always seem to be on the road. So, yeah. Making y'all some money this week.
Zach, who do you think is good stardom and sit-ems for this week for you?
Well, just saying for DeAndre Hopkins, by the way, even in crappy games, he's been really solid.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
And he's really cheap in your dailies fantasy leagues. He's
No, he
a
ain't.
wide receiver one.
Oh, no, not in FanDuel.
I don't know what daily leagues you playing. That man's about
That's 8,000.
8,000, 9,000.
About 8,500.
I'm playing DraftKings, and guess what? I'll pay. I think he was 7,000 last week.
Oh, they must.
Oh,
they must
well, in
got-
FanDuel, he's about
Yeah,
8,400.
about 8,400.
I'll pay 7,000.
Yeah,
and not-
7,000.
and not-
That's a bargain.
And not pay the 8,600 that Demetri Thomas costs. But my
You mean
top-
Demarius,
Jaquatus, whatever.
Dwaylen.
Dwaylen brothers, whatever. The
It's because we're colored.
no, I just don't know his name because he hasn't had any touchdowns this
He really
year
hasn't.
because Peyton
No,
Manning
I
hasn't
drafted
thrown
in
to
another
him.
league. I was-
But my top picks for this week, Snead is a great waiver wire pickup, and I think he's going to do a really good job this week. I think Drew Brees is back into a really good flow. I'm excited to see what he does. If Marshawn Lynch doesn't play, Rawls is your man. The guy has a very, very good run form, and the guy just knew what he was doing. There's a lot of running backs out there like your D'Angelo Williams, even your Niles Davis, who just seem to have a really hard time after contact and just breaking through the line. I think Rawls is a great for this week. And obviously, I like kind of the non-conventional picks. You know, it's easy to say Tom Brady or anybody like that. I think that my last pick for this week is going to be who?
Spit it out, son.
I'm trying to think of a really good one.
Yeah,
That's
go
not-
with Tony Romo.
That's not conventional. Yeah, Tony Romo. He's going to be fantastic this week. Pick him right now in your leagues. No, I
Probably he's
think
available in 100% of the leagues you're in.
Yeah.
pretty much. No, I think the defense is the Broncos. So if you have a Broncos defense sitting on your waiver wire, go pick them up. They've done phenomenal. They're the only reason why the Broncos are even a relevant team now.
That is
Is
true.
because they're keeping them in there.
They've been carrying that team.
And I picked up Ronnie Hillman last week. He would have been one of my recommendations for last week, and that's why I just don't rely on the Broncos unless it's their defense. So those are my picks.
So now that we have established the good suggestions that we have for stardom and sit-ems, we touched on it a little bit, but we're going to get a little bit deeper into it. The very coveted sleeper picks.
Yes.
These picks can make or break a fantasy season without question. Those sleeper picks are some of the most talked about as far as pick-wise that people debate on in length. And it can pay off really big if you pick the right one. So we're going to go ahead and discuss a little bit about those sleeper picks. Mike, who is your sleeper pick for this next week?
My sleeper pick for the week, I'm not, I guess you can call him a sleeper pick just because he came back last week, but he had a really good game. Mine's is going to be Antonio Gates, tight end. He's coming off, of course, the PED suspension. Had
On the
92 9 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. Phillip Rivers' favorite target. If you don't have Gates or if he's not available in your league, another sleeper that I'm gonna go with, and take this with a grain of salt. Gary Barndridge. If you don't know who that is, that's the tight end for the Cleveland Browns. The man had 129 yards and a touchdown last week. He's the guy that caught the ball between his legs and got the touchdown like that. I'm probably sure you've seen that at Sports Center. He's also one of my picks for tight ends. One of those two guys. I'm probably sure Gates will have the better week stat-wise, but Barndridge going up against that Denver defense may be a stretch. But if you're in a pinch and you need somebody to pick up and hopefully get you some quick points, I'm going to go with Gates and Barndridge at tight end.
Cool. Excellent. Brian, how about yourself? Who's your sleeper hit for this next week?
Yeah, I think this one is a lock because they're playing the Lions. Is Marquise Wilson of the Bears. He had 17.5 points last week, and he's only 5,400 in FanDuel Fantasy. And he had a really good, like I said, week last week, especially against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are way better defense than the Lions. Because right now the Lions are god-awful. They're a dumpster fire. And I think he's going to have a really fantastic week, especially if Jeffrey is out and Martellus Bennett just keeps just being whatever. Also, I think because the Bears are not that good, Theo Reddick last week had 16.3 points in fantasy, and there's also only 5,000 in FanDuel. The running back for the Lions, he's the only player producing on that team because I don't know, Matt Stafford forgot how to throw the ball. I don't know what's going on with them, so I think he's going to be a really good play this week against the Bears because normally they're god-awful against the run.
Great. Zach, do you have a sleeper hit going on for right now?
Yeah, whose phone's going off right now? There you go.
Sorry about that.
You're fine.
It's fine.
It's all good, man.
Hey, who's the
Everybody gets one.
Who's the backup for Julius Jones? Who's the wide receiver too? Over
Hankerson?
there? Hankerson. I knew his name, but it sounded
he
like
did
an
1.8
imaginary
points last week.
friend's
Oh,
name.
sweet.
You know, like Doobie Dorp, Hankerson, Mr. Hankerson. But I think Hankerson's
Mr.
gonna
Wilson?
have, huh? Anyways, Hankerson is my sleeper pick because if you look at the strength of schedule, Atlanta has the easiest schedule going forward, right? So they're going to get a lead. They have Devontae Freeman. They have Jones. You know, they're going to get their leads, and guess what they're going to do is they're going to sit Jones. They're not going to throw him to him as much. You saw that this past week, the week before. They're going to let him score 1-2 touchdowns. He's going to sit down, and Hankerson is going to get all those targets, all the garbage time. He's going to get all the leftovers, and he's going to stack up those points. So if you need someone, you know, in a flex position or even a high wide receiver too with some upside, that's the way to go. He has a very low floor, and that's really the way to look at it because you're not going to hurt your franchise player just to beat, you know, the Houston Texans 400-1. You're not going to do it. You're going to go to your wide receiver too, and he's going to pick up a lot of those targets. So that's my pick, guys.
All right. Some good picks. Please take everything with a grain of salt because
Please.
Please.
I don't want anybody.
Please.
Badass.
I don't want anyone
DraftKings.
getting on DraftKings or anything like that saying an rival told me to do it and now I'm broke and living in the streets.
These are not guarantees, people.
Well, that
are
means
not
you have a
guaranteed.
gambling
I did not sign my
problem.
name up
That's
to your
fault.
fantasy team.
Exactly.
So to segue right from that, DraftKings has become, along with FanDuel, one of the top leading just fantasy combines of everyone. They have just the commercials are everywhere. You cannot escape it.
That's right.
Not at all.
It is an
Even in your
addiction.
sleep.
It is an addiction in its own self.
$26 million, by the way.
Oof.
They've spent $26 million in the first 4 weeks of the NFL in advertising, and over 64 between DraftKings and FanDuel combined in advertising.
Man,
A lot of suckers that don't watch our podcast are losing money.
That's
so don't
right.
be that guy.
you don't want to lose any of this dinero, man.
And it's guap.
So, speaking of these bets, I want to get a feel and see right now if you guys had some bets, which I know a couple of you guys are on either Draft or Fan. Going forward for this next week, who is without a doubt putting your dollars on going forward for this next week? Mike, how about yourself?
Going forward, like I said, I made the mistake of not starting him this week. Devontae Freeman is always going to be a pick for me until the NFL proves they can stop that Atlanta's offensive line and offense. They reworked the offensive line in the offseason. They traded for one of the tackles from Tennessee. They signed not Sam Baker. They signed somebody in the offseason, pretty good tackle that got cut by a team. So they're pretty much doing what you need to do to win games. Run the ball, throw to Julio when he gets one-on-one coverage, and they actually have a very good defense. And as Brian told me before we started doing the podcast, Dan Quinn has made a hell of a difference on that team. If you watch the Cowboys game or any of the games on the sideline, he's in people's faces. He's pushing his players around. He's like, hey, you mess up right there, in some words I can't say on the podcast because they're not user-friendly. So that stuff matters. So that's my person that I'm putting my money on. Also, like I said again, he was my sleeper pick. Antonio Gates. I'm betting my money on Gates. Reason why, I believe the touchdown he caught was
his
100th touchdown.
Yes.
So you got to remember, he's Phillip Rivers' favorite target. Whenever you have a good quarterback like Phillip Rivers, and plus me, they're going to pass a lot. Their defense isn't the best. They're going to be down a lot, so they're going to need to pass the ball to get touchdowns, and Antonio Gates is his main man. So my two people that I put my bets on, that I'm going to make sure on all my teams this week, Devontae Freeman and Antonio Gates.
All right. Heard it first. Brian, straight out of Death Row Records.
That's right.
Suge signed him last week.
That's right. Suge, we gonna come back, baby.
So tell us, who are you gonna put all your chips on if you had to this coming week?
Oh yeah, everybody, this is a lock this week. I want y'all to pay attention. It is the New York Jets defense. Ooh. They have Antonio Cromartie, Revis Island, Mario Williams in the line, that great defensive line. They're going up against Pick Six Cousins, a.k.a. Kirk Cousins, and the Washington Redskins. This is going to be a lock. You know it. They're playing on the road against that defense. They're off of a bye. They're going to be refreshed. It's just going to be brutal. So if you want to win a lot of money, I think you got to go with the New York Jets defense. Is going to be, I think, a real big day for them. At least a couple of interceptions in the first half. All right. So, yeah, that's my one lock for the week.
All right, Jets, Jets, D. Speaking of D, let's talk about Zach's pick.
All right.
Wait,
what? All right.
Are you guys talking about my D?
Oh, no. No, not me.
Not
talk about my dinosaurs. Anyways, my picks for the week, depending on what contest you get into, I'm searching for a contest that gives you extra points for punt returns, and my lock is Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks. I play in a fantasy league where they give points for punt returns, and he's been able to put up 18-plus every single week. He outshines Doug Baldwin in that area, because he runs a lot of those punt returns, gets a lot of yardage, a lot of touchdowns. My normal pick, if you're just going a regular PPR, I'm putting a lot of my biscuits and baskets on Snead. Either Snead or Rawls, but I'm going to say Snead. Again, I think that the Saints don't even know what their offense is yet, but I know when Breeze wants to lock in on a wide receiver, he locks in, he sticks with them. That's what Stills was for him a bit last year, and I think he's going to stick with them, and I think it's going to be really good. So those are my two picks, Rawls, Snead, and Lockett, if you can find a punt return league.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. A lot of great suggestions, a lot of good information, just a lot of good things over around. That's why this is the best sportscast that you can probably tune into.
We the best.
We the best.
I can't say the rest, but yeah.
Okay. All right, Mike. Thanks for stopping right there. All right.
Callie would definitely sue us. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Please join us every week to go ahead and have these wonderful suggestions given to you. Please, guys, let them know where you can find this wonderful content on a weekly basis.
Yeah, you guys can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Just search Unrivaled Multimedia. If you want to follow us on our personal Twitter accounts, I'm Mike Titan _ That is Brian Crunch Time, Crunch_time wise, where the eyes should be in time.
Yes,
stuff
people,
like that.
TYME.
Weird like that.
Because I'm black. That's right.
Yeah, because he's black. But yeah, go ahead and follow us. We're going to be doing this weekly for the NFL season, and then we're also going to move on to different sports as well as we get later on into the year.
Thank you. Brian, let us know where you find you at.
Oh, yeah. Like Mike said, you can find me on Twitter at Crunch_TYME. And also, like Mike said, on YouTube, Unrivaled Multimedia, on Instagram, Facebook, Unrivaled Multimedia. We're going to do this every week, and we're really hoping you guys like this and, follow us. We're going to take over. We're the best. That's right.
And you can find me, LA, on Instagram, also on Twitter as LA_IZ_GFC. I know it's long. Type it in. You'll love it.
Gang letters.
Thank you again so much for joining us. You can also find us on Dweeb Factory YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next week.
Wait. You forgot the white kid.
I'm sorry. I did. Zach, tell me.
No, it doesn't matter.
You can find me in my cage where my black slave masters keep me. At the white person cage on Twitter. No, you can find me at the Mad Zach at THAMADZAK.
We made him say that.
They make me do lots.
He's not
of
mad.
things.
He's just confused.
I'm so confused. All right, let's sign this off, LA.
So thank you again so much. We'll holler at you guys next week. Let you know how all of our picks came out. Hopefully we're helping out your league as well as ours. Appreciate it once again. Much love.